Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to my party. Joining us in the Movieland spotlight this month is Cadet Alex Stone, sir. Stephen Martini, an actor-director from New York City, known from his appearances in Goat, On Fire and Smiling Fish, Murder, She Wrote, Holiday, and my favorite, Major Payne. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
What are you looking at, ass eyes?
I was actually debating whether or not to shave my head for this interview. Join you in the House of Pain.
Yeah, I've been debating that question for the last 30 years.
That's great. Well, I believe I've been quoting lines from Major Payne my entire life, so I do apologize for throwing the little things out here and there.
No problem. No problem. It's a blast. It's such a great, honestly, it's an honor to be a part of something like that. It's a classic.
I'm glad you have a sense of humor. So do I.
We need that these days, don't we? We all need that.
Well, can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in the film industry and who inspired you?
When I was a kid, I just, at some point, I just absolutely fell in love with the movies, and there was nothing else I wanted to do other than watch movies. And at some point, you can't get too close to the movie screen. You want to get inside the screen. And I think I can say the moment, I remember actually when I was a kid, the moment that I knew I wanted to be an actor. And that was, I think I must have been 5 or 6 years old watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. And Harrison Ford, when he took off the hat and the whip and the jacket, and he was a teacher in the classroom. I don't know if you noticed, he's a professor, right?
Yeah.
And that was when I realized that man is the same man as Han Solo. And something just clicked in my head. I was like, that's Han Solo? I remember looking at my brother. I was like, that's Han Solo? And my brother shook his head. Yeah. That's when I said, oh, if that guy is also Han Solo, that means that he's doing this for a job. This is a real job people can do. You can do more than one thing. And then that's when it clicked in my head, and I thought, wow, I want to do that. That's the only thing I want to do. Everything else seemed like, you just wanted to play pretend instead of actually you can do so many different things when you're acting. You can research all these different subjects and learn about them, and it doesn't mean you have to actually do them for the rest of your life. You get to do them for a little bit. So that sounds like a pretty enticing thing for me when I was a kid. So that's when I was like, I need to learn about acting. What is this thing? And so I started studying acting at when I was probably like a teenager. My dad made me go to an acting school, and my parents had gotten divorced, and they went to this high school in New York City that was full of actors and dancers and singers and all sorts of kids that did these kind of things. And so at a very early age, I saw that, oh, wow, people can actually do this stuff. I always thought maybe when I graduate high school, I'm going to try and get a job, working into theater or, working on a movie or something. And if not, I'll go into college and still study theater and do something like that. A few months into my 18-year-old self, I got an audition for Major Payne. And I was out of high school, and I didn't know where I was going to go. And next thing I know, they're flying me down to Virginia to meet with Damon Wayans and the director, Nick Castle, to do a test audition. Found out I got the part, and that was the first official film set I really had ever been on. So ever since then, I really just, once you get a taste of that, it's hard to walk away.
Oh, I can imagine. And that would have been quite intimidating, having to, first roll straight into this, basically a lead role, co-starring with Damon Wayans. You got to tell me a little bit how that audition went. Was he fully in character? Obviously he would have been himself when he introduced, but once he went off the bat, everyone knows how exaggerated his performance was. Was it something like that in the audition, or was it a little toned down?
No, he was pretty chill in real life. He's a very chill guy. He's not like a guy who has to, be the center of attention.
Yeah.
to certain people. There's a different kind of performer that kind of needs the attention, and Damon was very reserved and very cool.
Yeah.
And so once it came time to snap into character, then
that's
to
what
be
I meant.
on a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was plenty of time to prepare for that.
It's interesting you asked that, because at the time when you're a kid, when I was a kid, it's like you can't really tell what the hell's going on. I didn't know if the audition was good or bad. You just don't really know what the hell's happening. I remember at one point I kind of felt a little bit silly and stupid, because that's the nature of auditioning. You feel like an idiot. So, there was a moment where there was like a glowing thing, that like a spark that, that you can, I don't know how to explain it, but like something happens where you just know something's, this is on, game is on,
Yeah.
And like, I got a real sense like, holy shit, this is mine. I'm going to get this. And it's meant to be, all that, like, this is not going to go away. I'm going to leave this place and with the trophy, basically. So, there was a moment when, very few times in life does that happen. It was almost like a spiritual thing. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of go, holy shit, this is real. This is like something bigger than me is happening right now, and it wants me to be a part of it. It wasn't based on my performance being good. It was just like, I kind of felt like no matter what I did, this was just going to be my thing,
Oh, you definitely won that performance, and it's like it's amazing to say it's your first film credit, because like it's an amazing performance, like measuring up to, say, like with the film history of Damon Wayans. I should be very proud of that. But yeah, was there any extensive training in advance, like obviously with the military kind of aspect of the film?
So I got the part, like there was somebody else had the part before me, and
Oh, really?
And he was an actor in an NBC show or some kind of TV show, and they wouldn't allow him to shave his head. So they kind of needed somebody fast. And so they hired me like 3 weeks before production.
Oh, wow.
And so the other kids had already been in there training. And so I jumped into the training. So for like those 3 weeks before, I jumped into all the, we did all those military trainings. They had some hardcore, military experts in there doing all the there was a guy named Dale Dye. I don't know if you know him. He was like a famous Hollywood military advisor, and he was there, and he brought all of his guys, and they were hard asses, It was, so they had to whip us into shape and do all that stuff, and people doing one-arm push-ups, And the stunt team there too was really cool. I remember meeting all the stuntmen, and those guys were really badass.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, there's going to be a lot of crazy fun stories making that film. I did stumble upon one you shared online about the mud pit. Can you tell me more about that story?
Oh yeah, the mud pit. That was so fun. Yeah, no, I mean, look, they gave us freezing cold water underneath the mud, and some of the kids, and they wanted to give wetsuits and stuff to some of the kids, and some of the kids were crying about it. And, but I kind of went in raw dog. I wanted it, I wanted to feel it at the time. I was a real method actor, I took acting, I still do. I think it's a serious craft and an art form. So it was, it was funny how I was pretty serious about it. And Damon was very jokey about it, he could just kind of turn it on and off.
Was it hard for everyone to kind of stay straight faced around him doing that kind of character?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. When somebody's just the funniest person ever, that, it's hard to stay straight. But, as an actor, you kind of have to, your part. So you got to give them something to play off of. So, we're like, supposed to be pros.
Yeah. Well, it was your first credit, so I can imagine it was a little hard to bite your tongue at times, but no, you did very well. And amongst all the comedy, there's still a lot of serious and well played out drama between you two, which I think adds more depth to the film. And like, you both did absolutely amazing bouncing off each other. So yeah, again,
I didn't have the burden of having to be funny, So yeah, I didn't have to be funny. I wasn't the funny guy in the movie, so that was. Yeah. That was fun for me, man. I really, we talk about bringing back that thing. It's like 30 years later, and it's like all these other film properties are coming back. Just ridiculous movies are having sequels and legacy, reincarnations. And it's like, why not Major Payne? Why not bring, Major Stone?
Yeah. Well, was a sequel ever brought up in discussion at all, or is it at the moment?
You know, I heard that Damon had his own idea that he had pitched, and the writer had an idea, but Universal NBC, they own the rights to it. So, and it's kind of based on, it's actually a remake of another film called The Private Lives of something, Major Benson. So I think the rights are tied up somehow in that. And honestly, you know, had Major Payne come out and made like $100 million at the time, you know, maybe this would be a different conversation, but like it took time for Major Payne to kind of build this cult following, you know?
I definitely didn't see that one at the cinema, so I do apologize. I was a bit young when it came out, but I rewatched that video a billion times.
It's a phenomenal. I mean, it's just like a weird Stanley Kubrick kids movie, you know, like a Full Metal Jacket meets like a kids sports, you know, holiday movie. It's a really interesting mix. Personally, it's one of the Wayans' best movies, you know, as a movie on its own. It's like, it's just got so much stuff going on, you know?
Oh, I could go on forever about Wayne's, especially like I love him as Blank Man. Did you ever catch that one?
He took us to see that that came out while we were shooting Major Payne.
Really?
And he took all the kids to the movie theater to watch Blank Man. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
and back then, superhero movies were not like, you know, the usual thing. So it was so crazy watching him play a superhero.
He's great as a serious actor as well. He's doing obviously Lethal Weapon, but another one I love of his is opposite Adam Sandler in Bulletproof. I love that movie to death.
Yeah, that was great. I wanted to get an audition for Lethal Weapon. I should have been in the Lethal Weapon show.
That would have been cool. Yeah, a little cameo part there, like no relation to Major Payne, but the eye contact, like everyone would have.
Yeah, right.
They've been great. Back to the sequel discussion. So it's just all hopes and glory besides that rough pitch you heard that happened.
I don't think they have it as a priority for some reason. They don't see that there's, you know, I guess like Karate Kid had 3 movies and they kind of, maybe they saw that there was a fan base there to bring back, you know, Cobra Kai and some of these other sequels. Somehow they get this, you know, they get a resurgence. And for some reason, you know, I tried to put it out there on, maybe it's too much of a touchy subject because it's ripe for, you know, so many, comedic barriers to be broken. If you brought Major Payne's tutorial style to today's generation of kids who are all tech addicted, ADHD, neurodivergent, can barely focus, you know, I think that there's a brilliant vector of comedy right there.
Exactly. I was going to say that works. Bring them in Major Payne's House of Pain. That'd have been great.
So I think there's still potential. Just the right people have to see it. I mean, Damon's, you know, is it, even if Damon is going to be involved as, you know, his kid, he's doing a show with his kid, you know, you can bring the whole Payne family. You can kind of open up the doors and, you know, you can see a whole new dynamic, you know, of the Payne verse if you wanted to. And you know what I mean? You know, the fans would want to see the old cast, some of the old kids. And I'm not saying Alex Stone would have to be a main character or be whatever, but like, you know, you could bring him back as a cameo, you know, or he could be Major Stone. Who knows? And Damon's the general now, you know.
Major Stone. I like that. Yeah. No, that's
General Payne.
With all these like sequels that are coming out down the track of cult classics, like I feel it's the need to bring the originals back rather than reboot it, something which I think never really needs to be done to some extent. But definitely seeing Damon back as Major Payne would be amazing because I've not seen him do huge amount, especially that kind of goofy comedy he did back then in the 90s. I don't believe he's really touched on that as much as he did back then. It'd be great to see him do it again.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's still beloved, especially, you know, like there's a community around it. On TikTok, there's a way more of a, you know, an interest in that. And like, you know, again, I've been trying to push it out there, but, you know, there's only so much I can do.
So do you keep in touch with the squad still?
Cadet Dotson, the traitor, the rat bastard who tripped me in the relay race at the end, the obstacle course. He and I just did a movie together. He plays my lawyer in a film that I wrote and directed and star in. So yeah, and his name is Andrew Leeds. You can see him, and he's been in a bunch of really cool things. He was in that show Barry. Great actor. And obviously we met on set in Major Payne, and kind of kid, like no matter how many years you don't see each other. We just saw each other yesterday. We ran into each other in the bathroom at the premiere of our movie, and you just start laughing right away. You laugh for like 10 minutes before you can talk to each other, you know? So yeah, Andrew and I are, I consider him, you know, he's a really good guy, and I'm happy we got to work together again. I don't really see any of the other guys, you know, online a little bit. I talked to some of them. Damian Wayans, we had a little Instagram back and forth on DM.
Nice.
And yeah, I tried to reach out to Ass Eyes, because I was trying to get everybody together for some like kind of, you know, some kind of reunion thing. I wrote a little like a short film thing that I thought, oh, if I could shoot a little parody and put it out on the internet, maybe that has a chance of going viral, and or at least getting people interested in remembering Major Payne, you know? So I was trying to get everybody together, but you know, it's really hard. They live all across the country.
Right.
You know, and some of them are just not even into the film business at all anymore. They're not acting. That, you know, they don't want to be bothered.
Right.
I won't say who, Ass Eyes. So if I had to bring Ass Eyes back, I'd need to recast Ass Eyes. So I'm gonna have to put a casting call out for Ass Eyes.
Anybody interested? Hit him up. No, that'd be amazing to see a parody, at least, like to ignite something. And I'm sure a lot of people, like if you say Major Payne, it's going to hit them in the feel, especially kids growing up in the 90s. It's a highlight of a film, and I would love to see more happen with it. And I think, yeah, the sky's the limit. There could be thousands of things, but
me too. I mean, the key is obviously to be respectful, and that's why in one way I'm happy nobody's touched it yet, because
yeah,
I wouldn't want to ruin the, you know, it was such a perfect in the moment thing, lightning in a bottle. It's like, why would you want to mess with that, you know? So like, it would have to be respectful. That would be the, you know, the main caveat.
What is the most common question fans give you about Major Payne?
They probably ask me if I really shave my head. Yeah,
right.
Of course I shaved my head, and you know, they probably say, they asked me, did I know I was going to shave my head? Like, was I surprised? And no, I wasn't surprised. They told me, you know, I was going to have to do that. I was very happy to do it. I would shave my ass and work on that movie, you know? It's like how long we did it for. We shot it the whole summer, that summer, you know, in Virginia. They asked me about Bam Bam Bigelow, what it was like working with I don't know if people even know him anymore.
I'm a big wrestling fan, so I was happy to see him pop up. That was a question I was going to swing in there too, but I wasn't sure if you had much to say about it.
Yeah, no, he was just a real sweet guy. He was like very nice off camera, you know. I wish I had a story where him and I went downtown on a motorcycle on Charlottesville into a bar with him and Major Payne, and got into trouble. But we won't talk about that.
Right. Any other fun or crazy stories you can share about making that film?
I don't know if people know that the deaf kid who did the rifle thing.
Right. Yeah.
He was hired because of that. He was a real, I don't know what that's called. Infantry, I don't know, rifle twirler. Mark Madison, the name was. And they made him deaf because he wasn't in SAG, and SAG needed SAG required some actors to have lines. So then they're like, okay, screw it, we'll make him deaf. And then that became like a funny, like through line of the film. But then when he did that thing at the end by throwing the rifle up, he was using a real rifle at one point, and he threw it up, and the camera guy hit the camera, and the rifle hit the camera guy.
Oh no!
Yeah, and like cut his nose open. It was like a whole mess thing. So then they had to replace the rifle with a rubber rifle.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a crazy story to hear. Yeah, I can see why they made him mute there. That's amazing. And yeah, that gun flipping scene is very impressive. It's fun. I've watched the film more than 10 times the last couple of weeks researching for this film, and I did notice that scene in the back, all the kids flipping the guns, trying to keep up. I'm like, oh, but they're gonna drop it. Like to see that they did a little bit of training there.
Yeah,
you could see they're all nervous doing that scene.
Yeah, they were. Oh, I can tell you something. So, you know, originally there was a different ending to the movie.
Oh, please share.
Yeah, originally the ending was after the relay race, after the obstacle course thing. You know, we're all sitting in that tent, and I'm wounded. my ankle was sprained. Thank God I didn't have to do that dance, by the way. When they told me my ankle was sprained, I didn't have to do the dance in the end. I was so happy. I did not want to do that dance.
Oh, that dance was iconic. I love this song as well.
Oh, it's amazing. But I wasn't as confident in my own ability to cut some rug back then. But no, but anyway, so after that point, Michael Ironside, my evil stepdad, came back into the play, and he's got a gun and he kidnaps me and Karen Parsons.
Wow!
And he took us to some like military tent somewhere where he was threatening to do God knows what to us. And Major Payne comes in and kicks Michael Ironside's ass and saves the day.
You know, I kind of like that. I wish they left that. You filmed it, obviously, yeah?
We filmed it, yeah, but I don't know where I have no idea where the footage is.
Oh, we need to find that. Even if it's VHS, give us the VHS cut of it. In fact, a little Easter egg, I got the VHS copy right here from Australia.
Oh, that's so awesome. Look at that.
Yeah. Very, very good. Some good. I love this so much. Yeah, alternate endings. Wow. Yeah. And obviously like it kind of set its own sequel up at the end of the film there. He's going to kind of repeat with a different crew. And
what I mean, so they probably been doing it for 30 years. Like who knows?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Make the Payne family. Who knows if he's got a whole family of crazy, like violent, traumatized Payne verse,
I guess I don't want to talk about war. I guess maybe, I don't know, but it'd be great to see Tiger grown up as well, and yeah, he could be manic crazy. Yeah, let's pitch Major Payne sequels, everyone. What do you got?
Right?
But yeah, no, I love the Major Stone. I like that idea so far. Let's do that one.
Yeah, right. So I thought, Alex Stone could come back, he's trying the school, but he can't do it. It's got to be too hard for him. He needs to get the boys together and because this new generation of kids is too much, it's too much. It's too unruly. They don't focus. They don't listen to the discipline. I mean, did you watch Cobra Kai?
Yeah, I've seen the first season.
Oh man, you got to watch the rest of it. The way they brought back the entire universe of that show in such a real, it was a real classy way, and just so many, layers of it that work on comedy and yet the action and the, and the heart. It's just, they really, really nailed it. It's such a good way to bring back a legacy IP.
It definitely was. It's very surprising, like that when I watched Cobra Kai, like it hit me like a curveball, because they I can't remember the characters' names, but I always thought the bully was the bully in the original Karate Kid, and I started watching. I'm like, he's right, and I rewatched the first film. I'm like, the main kid is the bully in the first film. I can't believe it. I've been lied to my whole life. Right? Just seeing things differently. They very well. That first season is great, and I'll definitely take a suggestion and watch the rest of them. Been meaning to. Love the first film. Actually, really like the next Karate Kid, believe it or not. The one with the girl on the lead. That one as well. I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, so it's so interesting how that's what's so great about movies, right? How would you watch them again when you're older, and you see them differently, you see yourself differently. That's what's so amazing about them, You can watch that movie again and see it from Johnny Lawrence's point of view, Karate Kid, and then it's a whole new. I love that, man. That's what I love about the art form of making movies. I've been out there on the film festival circuit because I got my own indie film that I've just wrote and directed and starred in, and it's so amazing to see it with the big screen with people. And each screening, I made the thing. I thought about this thing forever, and I still find something new in it as I'm watching it.
Right.
I'm like, wow, it shouldn't be new to me, but it is. It's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, I can get what you mean by that. Just little details here and there, and actually it makes you, especially when you're editing and all that stuff, makes you think too much about little details, and you keep adding more and more to it.
Oh my God, it's the worst. And it's that's what I mean. I didn't think I could ever look at this thing again, my movie, in a fresh eyes and a fresh scenario.
Yeah.
And then when I get to see it on the big screen, it's this is where it's meant to be, and this is, it's beautiful, man. I'm so, it's been so crazy to be in the movie industry. It's only been around for like 100, 110, 20 years. And we're seeing so many changes.
Yeah.
We grew up as this generation of, for me, movies were everything,
Yeah. Same.
And now it's so funny how the internet came along and, it's shifting in the way people even relate to movies.
Yeah, attention spans is what worries me. It's like people can really invest in TV series more than movies now, which still doesn't make sense to me. I like the grand blockbuster style of films rather. Like I still appreciate the TV shows and everything, but I'm a video store guy as well. I love video stores. Grew up working at one. And love the cinema now, and I'm clawing to that. Don't take away the cinemas.
I know, man. It's looking bleak at times, It is. But I don't know how it is in Australia, but here, especially even in LA, you're like, wow, these theaters could be way more crowded.
Yeah, no, I do agree there. It depends on the film. Like I feel like sometimes I'm going to go, it's going to be empty, but I'd say kids films are doing better than adult films, more than anything down here. And like just last year, I think what was it, Inside Out 2 was the highest grossing film, but then Deadpool right behind it. So yeah, it's either R-rated or G-rated that's winning.
Right. There you go. There's no more middle ground.
Furiosa, the new Mad Max film, Australian film, that one hit the cinemas and bombed, but it's such an amazing film. People are just, won't go out to the cinema, just wait for it to come to streaming. But what they're not realizing is doing that just canned a Mad Max sequel with Tom Hardy because they thought no one wanted to see Mad Max anymore. So it ruins, chances for sequels.
They were going to make another one with Tom Hardy?
Oh yeah, they already kind of penned it together. They had a story for it because it was going to be a follow-up to Fury Road because Furiosa is like a spin-off, and then they were going to jump straight into the next Mad Max if Furiosa did well. And so I'm going definitely. And obviously, I think most people's excuse for not going to Furiosa was the same. Mad Max isn't in it. But wow, have you seen Furiosa?
Oh God, I loved it. Oh my God.
Yeah. I was in shock. Like I was still like, it's sad Mad Max wasn't in it, but I was shaking at the cinema.
He was in it for a second.
A split
second. That was him though, right?
I don't think so. No, that was
just that one shot where they showed the interceptor.
Oh, it is him, like the character, but it's not Tom Hardy who played it. I think I'm pretty sure it's not him.
No. I know, but it's his character.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. George Miller is an absolute genius. Like, let the man cook. Just give him something, and by the way, he should be talking to Peter Weir and get him, and he should be lighting a fire under Peter Weir's ass. They need to be drinking together because I'd like to see another Peter Weir movie. Those guys are old masters who can just cook. Let them go.
Yeah. Anyway, back on the topic to you, buddy. After the role of Major Payne, you and your brother wrote and starred a film together, Smiling Fish and Goat on Fire. Tell me a little bit about making that film. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was based on some personal real life stories.
After a Major Payne, I moved out to LA and, I got a few more acting gigs and I got on a TV series and then it got canceled before it ever became the next big thing. But, I had been paid for it very well as an actor because you shoot a whole season of these things or whatever. And but I felt sort of powerless. I was like, well, why did this get canceled? What can I do? And there's like nothing. And so I'm like, okay, but I had this money and I decided with my brother to just go out and make my own thing from first principles. I know how to make these things, right? I can write one. I can, throw it together with my brother and my friends who went to film school and, figure it out. And so, wrote my first screenplay. And we just went out and shot it 6 months later, like all these things go, right? You just say you're going to do something and you go out and do it. And then it all works. It's kind of magical at the time, We knew how to communicate with each other and we were having fun. And so we did it and we ended up making that movie for like, $50,000 or something, And then we ended up getting into the Toronto Film Festival, which is a big festival at the time. It's still pretty big. And we won the whole thing. And this was a big year in movies. This was 1999. This is like,
wow. Yeah.
Magnolia came out, and Being John Malkovich, and American Beauty was there at the time, and yeah, so and we were like this tiny little indie film, and that opened up my screenwriting career and stuff. And so after that, I used to go into the theaters and try and get people to go, because we didn't have that much advertising money. So I would go into the movie theaters and bring my guitar and get people to not see the other movies to see my movie. And so I did that one time in Santa Monica, and the person happened to be a big TV executive. And he was starting his own company, and he said, "I loved your movie. I went in because you told me to go in because you were playing the guitar." And he's like, "I want to make a TV show out of this." So then we ended up selling the movie as a TV show. So then that's the whole thing in the business. You have to rewrite something. You get paid to rewrite it, and we learned how to basically make a TV pilot, and that was super cool. It was again, that $50,000 investment to go out and make your little movie, opened up this whole new world of, oh, wow, people are interested in this. So, yeah. And so I ended up making that movie into a half-hour show and then an hour show. So we did it twice. We readapted it.
Right.
And that was a whole learning process. I didn't know how, to do that. So, and then we sold it to FX, and it was just before FX was trying to figure out what it was. It was like right before It Was Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Right. And just missed that boat, and like they couldn't figure out what their brand was. They wanted the show to be like, Sex in the City, but for men and, in their 20s and LA. And anyway, the development process, you never know which way it's going to go. So anyway, but it took us, a lot of places. And then we started writing, a bunch of things for, the studio system for a while, which is also a great opportunity to learn how to make movies. The writing process is endless when you're making movies. You're always rewriting. And so you got to get used to that, and not get precious with things, so that's really training.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a big success for that one for sure. You got to be proud of it, and the experiences definitely makes you better on the next run. And that film went a lot of places. But another great film you guys wrote that I'm a big fan of is Lymelife, with a packed cast: Alec Baldwin, Rory and Kieran Culkin, Emma Roberts. I'm a massive Rory Culkin fan, so this one was a win-win for me, and it's beautifully done. And I loved it so much. And I believe you also scored this film under the alias The Spaceship Martini. Is that right?
That's right. I did. Yeah.
Got that guitar out again.
Yeah. That's my band.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That was again. So after Smiling Fish, we said, well, let's write, instead of writing a little comedy about brothers in LA, let's go deeper. Let's write, something, our childhood, something that really affected us, which was parents getting divorced. And I had a girlfriend whose dad had Lyme disease, and that was always something that really I saw how it affected her family, and it affected, me in my own, way, at least.
Yeah.
And so we really wanted to dig into that. And so Lymelife was the second script. It was more dramatic than and it was deeper, and it got into the Sundance Labs, which is super cool, which is, again, then you go in there and you workshop it. But like I said, so the first Smiling Fish, we wrote it and then went out and made it 6 months later. Lymelife, we wrote it, and then it took 7-8 years to get made.
Wow.
Yeah. That was another learning process. That usually things take a lot of time, and the movie business has a lot of moving parts. And so, things will often go up and then go down and then go up and then lose their money. And then you got to regroup. And so, but Lymelife, we had the fortune of someone like Alec Baldwin. He stayed attached to that film, and without his attachment for that long, imagine staying attached to something for 7 years.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do that, and he did. And that was really, really kind of him. And we ended up eventually making the movie. and making the movie that we're really proud of and happy with. So it just takes time. It's like, sometimes there was a few times we thought that movie was gone and done, and we'd have to totally find something else. And we did. We had to pivot, and then, if you have the right people, you keep pushing forward, then things can come back to life, which is amazing.
The cast you had is amazing. Everyone did a great performance, and Kieran Culkin just won an awards just recently, and he's in the life for A Real Pain, which is a great film. And I think Rory's a really underrated actor as well.
I grew up with those kids. Those kids, I grew up with them in New York City. I went to this high school, and they were all in the same school. It was from 4th grade up to 12th grade. It's like a private school thing, and they were just great kids. And we always hung out and used to play X-Men with Kieran. We used to cut school and go to his apartment and play action figures and do stuff. And so when it came time for us to make this film, and we needed brothers, and we were in the Sundance labs, I played the older brother and Kieran played the younger brother.
All right.
Yeah. And so, but then when it came time to make the movie, Kieran played the older brother and Rory played the younger brother. So it was just one of those, experiences in life where you're just like, oh, wow, this is cool. This makes sense. And they're great kids, great guys.
Film, everything's great. So yeah, massive win on that one, and I definitely suggest people check out Lymelife. That one's actually on Tubi at the moment, so I was able to rewatch that recently, and really enjoyed that. But you recently won an award for is it the Bittersweet, the upcoming film that won the award?
Yeah, Bittersweet.
Right, congrats on that. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
That one, yeah, that one is another personal film that I made that this was, going back to my roots and saying, I want, this business, this industry can do a lot to crush your dreams and really suck out your passion. And so I wanted to get back to my roots of going out and making movies with my friends and my family and doing the things that I love to do, instead of waiting around and begging people. And it can feel really hopeless at times when you're trying to jump through all these hoops to get these things made. So I wrote a movie that I thought I can just shoot in my house and shoot with my car. And, so I went out and made that. And of course, eventually my landlord kicked me out and I lost my house and I got my car towed. And as with these, every time you say you're going to do something with a movie, things will get in your way to try and make you not do it. So, but luckily I'm seasoned enough to know how to work around those things and keep going. So, it's been a real labor of love so it's called Bittersweet, and I wrote it, I directed it, I starred in it, with my wife. She's the producer in it. And she also, plays the main character who's hitched up with my character. And so it's I'm really excited to get it out there because I think it's the most, everything feels personal, but right now it's very relevant to these times. It's about a man who's trying to get back home to see his family because he was kicked out of his house. And the law sees him as a bad guy who shouldn't be with his family. They put a restraining order against him, and so he's trying to get his way back in. So it's very if people think something's masculinity is being attacked these days, and this film deals with that in a very I think in a very artistic and satisfying way. So
I'm excited to see the film as well. So I definitely think everyone should have a look. I did see the artwork for it.
Yeah, although if you like, it's like people yesterday at the screening compared it to Uncut Gems in some way.
Really? I love Uncut Gems.
Yeah, so that Punch Drunk Love, remember, Paul Thomas Anderson's movie, Charlie Chaplin-esque thing going on. It's a really it's hard for me to put into words exactly, often, these things, because that's why you make them,
Yeah.
But those are my my influences, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of like kind of horror-ish, you did a cameo on the TV series Murder, She Wrote.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that was so much fun, man. She was amazing. Angela Lansbury is just a class act.
Yeah.
And that was you know, an old TV show that ran like a machine. You know, they had 24 episodes each season, and they were just cranking it out. The writers were tight, the crew was tight. It was amazing. And when Angela Lansbury had a thing where she played to the camera, where she didn't look at you when she was acting with you. She'd be looking somewhere else. So it was always kind of bizarre. She'd tell you, "I'm not looking at you, but trust me, I'm here with you. I'm listening." So she'd kind of like look away. It was very
Maybe it helps her, like making eye contact throws her off.
Yeah.
Some
yeah, exactly.
Here at Movieland, like we love recommending movies. So I need to know 6 of your favorite movies you recommend for us to watch. It could be old, new, anything.
I love that movie, Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah,
Uncut Gems, I think is like.
love that.
There's an old movie called Scarecrow with Al Pacino and Gene Hackman. God bless his soul, Gene Hackman. Oof. Definitely Harold and Maude. You ever see that movie Amelie?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great movie. That movie made me feel like $1 million when I walked out of it. Loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. So I mean, the classics. Like, do you watch the classics? The Godfather. You know, like.
I'm not into the mafia kind. There's a couple of mafia films I like. I've not seen any. I've not seen The Godfather yet. I've not seen Scarface.
Mafia as a genre, is this something you're not interested in? Like, I heard this before. Is it mafia as a genre, huh?
Yeah, I guess I kind of put it like you Godfather, Scarface, kind of, you know, the Robert De Niro kind of films. Like I do like Robert De Niro, and there's one of his I do like, Ronin, I think, if you put past Meet the Parents and stuff like that. But yeah, Godfather just does not interest me. Like I couldn't, I'm going to try it one day because I think maybe when I'm older, like I'm the same with Westerns as well. I grew up hating Westerns, but just recently, because I'm a massive Back to the Future fan, but I hated the third when I was young.
Me too. It's lame. It was lame.
Yeah, but no. Just recently, like maybe the last 10 years, I gave it another shot, and I love the third now. Like I got to, and now I rewound. I like Clint Eastwood now. And
now you like Western.
Yeah, now I like Western. So like it took me, you know, I'm 38 this year, so it took me like 30 years to get into Westerns. But so yeah, maybe one day I'll sit for The Godfather.
You know, the great Westerns, you know, when I was a kid, it was Young Guns. You watch Young Guns?
Yeah, actually, that's one I did watch. Love both of them. They're amazing.
Did you hear there's a third one coming out?
With the original cast?
Emilio Estevez is directing it.
Kiefer Sutherland as well. He's a big, I love Lost Boys. So yeah, that's going to be wild. Wait, you got one more. So what do you got?
Well, I'm not going to give you The Godfather because I know you don't want
what? Good. No. This is your list. Anything
you want from more swine. You don't want it. I'm not going to give it to you. Let's see. I would say Magnolia.
Magnolia. Okay.
Have you seen Magnolia?
No.
Oh God.
That's what I like about these lists. It gives me movies to watch, and I think of you while I'm watching and think, oh yeah, you like this one. I'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah.
All right. Just want to know if you've ever been to Australia or know much about it.
Never been. I always wanted to go. I have a few fans I know from Major Payne there that I've interacted with online, you know.
Well, I must salute you one last time, sir. Thank you so much for joining me and taking the time to talk to us today. Don't forget to be kind, rewind, and if he's still in there, he ain't happy.
Looks like we got another major on our hands here, guys.
Download the digital Movieland magazine for free at movieland.au. Grab your popcorn and follow us because we bring you a one-stop shop for news on new releases at the cinema, digital rentals, and all of the streaming services combined. Catch all of this and more at our website, movieland.au. Don't forget to follow us on social media for daily news, movie recommendations, and spoiler-free reviews.